functionality is working at the primary ledger. Okay. So now I have certain controls in terms of how I wanted to have the fund check to be done in the system. Okay. So first, let me say this is bolt-on budget maybe. Okay. And then here, if you see, so we have the calendar. So this is what we defined it. So let me pick bolt-on. So this is what we defined. So I'm attaching the defined budget calendar, and based on the budget calendar that we have given, so we will have the period that is populated. I think this is another we created for 12 months. I'm not sure whether I created it again. Okay, fine. So I'll just say the start period and the end period. Okay. And here, if you see, so you have something called source budget type. So before starting this session, that is in the last class, so I was saying about the Hyperion budgeting controls that we have in terms of integration. Okay, just give me 1 minute. Yeah. So this source budget is nothing but from where we are pulling the data or to validate this particular fund check. So from where are we getting this particular configurations of the control? So that is what the source budget type is about. Okay. So here, if I say this is control budget, so which means so I'll have to give the source budget name, which means this is control budget, but this is child budget of a parent budget which I have created already. Okay, so that's the meaning of this particular option called control budget. So now if I say EPM module, so which means I'm just saying no because I don't want to connect it to EPM. Okay, let me. Okay, so that's what. So that's about the EPM. So EPM is performance management. Okay, so that is again another finance module. So wherein we use that particular module for various purposes. So one of the purposes to have enabled this one budget and these things. Okay. And then we have the Hyperion planning, which I was saying. Okay, so that is one thing. And then you have the option of other. So other is nothing but our budget control. So which means this is your independent control budget, and which you will use to do the fund check and all those activities. Okay. Then you have the currency. Okay, so currency is nothing but your functional currency or the local currency which you will use in your registered entity. Okay. So in this case, so I have created this bolt-on as an Oman-based entity. So that is why I'm selecting this as OMR. Then you have certain options here. So first option that you have is that absolute. So the meaning or the understanding in absolute is that, so if I enable this particular option as this particular fund check process as absolute, so which means if fund is not there, so I cannot have the invoices created. So system will not allow me to post it or move further also. So that is called absolute. Then we have advisory. So advisory is kind of an warning. So it's not going to stop you, but it is going to give a warning message to you stating that there is no fund in your particular account. Okay, so that is advisory. So then we have the track. So track, it is not going to give the warning, neither it is going to control or stop you at this point not to create the journal entry. So it is going to just track it. So probably you can utilize this as a kind of report, but it is not a functionality wherein it is going to remind you that there is no fund or these things. So that's about the track. So none, of course, we will not use none, because if I'm using none, so probably I'll not use this control budget. Okay, so that's about these three options. So for now, what I'm doing is that I'll say this is absolute. Okay, and then probably if you want to set up the tolerance, so let's say I have this business case wherein this is kind of an what do you call, the payment across states. Let's say in India, I have across the states. So now I might have the payment. So let's assume that I'm into insurance, and I might pay the claims that is been claimed by this claimants. Okay. So now the volume of payment that I do on a particular day will be huge. So I don't want to control it at certain level wherein I have to request the department, and then it will go through the offline and online process, and then the funds will be loaded. So I don't want that process. So instead what I will do is that, so if there is minimal or the lesser funds that is in the account, so what I will do is that I will raise the request to load the funds. But whereas I don't want system to stop it or stop my transaction, what I will do on a day-to-day basis. So instead, I want a system such a way that so before getting the funds from the head office, so or before loading the funds into the account, so probably I'll have this as an exception, and I will make the payment for this particular amounts. Okay, so in that case, what I can do is that I can have this as a tolerance percentage or limit. So either one I can use it. Okay. So I'm not giving tolerance or this thing at this point, but you have option to give. Okay, and then we are attaching the ledger. Then you will need the budget manager. So what are the prerequisites for a budget manager? You will have to create this as an employee. So this employee creation and these things will be done by the HCM team. So the ones they have created this employee record. So you will have the data inside this particular option called budget manager. Okay. And then there are a few controls. So first thing is that allow budget to increase the adjustment. Okay. And then decrease. So this is nothing but just to increase your budget or decrease your budget. Okay, so that's about it. Okay, and this option is decrease the adjustments below the funds available, which means in negative. So usually it's not allowed. So probably in a rare case, if business requests for this option, so probably you should enable this option. So that is what it is. And then you have this allow override. So do you want to override a transaction? So that's about the allow override. Of course, this is procure to pay. So this is frozen field. So you cannot edit the processing type. Okay. And then you have the control budget structure, which means, so this is my structure. So control budget structure is nothing but my chart of account structure. So now, while I'm creating journal entry or any transaction in the system, so what I will do is that I will select this particular segment value. So probably in this case, company 01. 01 is my Oman and 02 is my India company. So I will select 01 or 02. So now if I want to put this budget or the fund check to this particular segment, so I can say this is for company, or probably let's say I don't want to have it for company, so I wanted to have this for account. So I can I can have this for account. Okay. And then so this tree is nothing but, so if I have parent child combination, all these things, so I can have the tree details. So meaning, let's say I'll take the same account as an example. Okay. So now I have my in terms of seeing the balance sheet, I'm saying it. So I have my balance sheet. So in balance sheet, so I have my liability on the left hand side and asset on the credit, I mean right hand side. So now when I look at my liability, so the way it will look like as represent the financial data in such a way that I will have my liability. So under my liability, I'll have accounts payable. So under accounts payable, I might have rent payable or whatever the payable it is. Okay, or probably I might want to pay out to the shareholders. So all those payable will come into this. So now, what exactly is this tree detail or the tree structure is that? So I have my liability. So this is my top layer, and under this I have accounts payable. So this is my second layer, which means this liability is sitting on top and accounts payable is child value of the liability. So now again under this particular accounts payable, so I have shareholders payable amount or any such amount. Okay, so again this is breakup of accounts payable. So similarly, you will have any number of combinations. So let's say if I want to have parent-child combination and to let's say 10 different combinations, so I can have it. So this entire structure we call it as tree. Okay, so that is what we are attaching it here. So at this point, we don't have the tree structure, because for that we will need the complete chart of account structure and defining your complete liability and this breakup. So which we don't have it. So probably you can try out if you wish to see it. So I can explain you the steps, like what are the steps involved in it, but I don't have data with me. So maybe you can try and let me know if you face any issue. So maybe I can help you with the solution. Okay. Yeah. So then you have the supplemental rule. So now we have defined this budget. So apart from this budget, so we have something called supplemental rule. So now when do I go for supplemental rule is that? So let's say I have defined here all these segments. So I wanted to give some exception to the definition that I have made it here. So in that case, what I will do is that, so I will enable supplemental rule. Okay. So here if you see, so let me pick absolute, absolute, or let's say I'm choosing here advisory. So there what I have done is that, so I have chosen as absolute. So here I'm selecting as advisory. So this particular fund check will work in such a way that line level, whatever I have given, it is going to check first. So line level meaning this supplemental rule. So supplemental rule can be multiple. So we are seeing it as one, but probably it could be many also in some scenario, I'm saying. Okay. So now here, if you see, so you will not be able to add any values here. So you can either view or probably you can download it in Excel, or these are the information that you can see. But you will not be able to add values here. The reason for that is that so these values are being populated or derived from the budget that we created in earlier steps. So now if I cancel, so you will see the budget segment. So whatever the segment that I have given there, so those are the segments will be taken here. Okay. So then we have the additional segment filter. So probably the additional segment filter is nothing but for your tree and tree structure and these parts. So we don't have tree as I said. So probably if you have, so you can add your additional segments here. Okay. And then probably if I want to enable it for a particular business unit, so I can use it. So here I will not have the business unit. So the reason for that is that, so here if you see, will not have the business unit. The reason for that is that, so we did not enable this fund check or the budget at business unit. Instead, what we done is that, so we enabled only for primary ledger. So that is the reason you will not be able to attach your business unit. So if you want to use business unit, so probably you'll have to make the revision there, and then probably you can get it here. Okay. And then here if you see, so if you want to probably have exception for any particular source or category, so let's say you don't want to have this control for certain accounts, let's say for let's assume electricity or the internet charges. So I don't need to have control over there. Let's assume it. Okay. So in that case, so what I will do is that, so I'll have different source. I mean the category source. Of course, it would be a payable purchase invoice. So category I might have it. So and appropriately. So probably I can have this as an exception. Okay. So these are the different attributes that we can attach to it. Okay. So that's about the supplemental rule. So once this is done, so we can say save. So now I have saved this particular control budget. So even though, so if you see here, so the status is not ready for use, which means I'll not be able to use this particular definition for the journal fund check. System is not going to check the funds availability in this case. So what I will have to do is that, let us say prepare for use. Okay. So now this will trigger a program which will activate the control budget. So I'll just say yes. Okay. So the process has been submitted. So I'll just check if it is done. Okay, it's not yet done. Preparing definition. So probably let me check if the schedule process is completed. Since it is test environment, so you'll have this performance issues sometimes. So if it is your actual environment, so you'll not have these issues. So this will be cleared immediately. Because in test environment, you'll have a lot of data in it. Okay, so let me just check the status of the budget that we created. Okay, I think it's me. Okay, so now we can see the status is in use. So now, let's say I forgot to add the supplemental rule, or probably now I wanted to introduce the supplemental rule. So what is the process to add it? So here if you see, so this particular addition is disabled. So you'll not be able to add new supplemental rule to the created budget or the budget that is in use basically. So what you'll have to do as a process is that you'll have to go to action and then you'll have to close it, and then again you'll have to redefine this particular budget. So that is how this particular option to enable or add the supplemental rule will be provisioned. Okay, so this is how we will add this rule. So now this particular status is in use, which means you can add the funds and you can do the fund check process in the system. Okay, so now we have done it. So now what we will do is that we will give the access. That is, I have created the budget. I'll have to give access to the user. I think role is not added. Okay, I believe this is the one. Let's check. This one or maybe this. Okay, so the roles are added. So next step is to assign the budget control that we created. Okay, so this is the option. I think it is for the other user which we added. So sometimes this could be because of this particular thing called synchronization. So what will happen is that so there will be an LDAP program so that will be triggered, and what it will do is that so it will link the user and the role which we have attached. So usually it will be triggered automatically and you don't have to check it. But in some cases, so probably the trigger might not happen and we'll have to run this particular program manually. And the program name is run user and role synchronization process. Okay, so this will sync both the user role and I mean the user and the role basically. Yeah. So let me check if the process is completed. Okay, so it has come. Okay, so I have attached Bolton budget for both the budget manager and the analyst. Okay, so we are good with the access. Okay, so what I'll do is that so probably I'll log out and log in and let's see if the budget infotel is added. Yeah, it is here. Okay, so I'll just say budgetary control. So this is the dashboard, and here if you see, so you have the immediate actionable items at the bottom of the page. And here if you see, so you have the budget monitor, but since we haven't uh, done any fund check or loaded anything or created any transaction, so we will not have this particular box with information. So instead this will be blank. So what we can do is that so we can enter or add funds to the ledger, okay, or the account, and then probably we can see or proceed with this thing. Okay, so first thing is that so we cannot enter budget amount manually in the system. It will have to be processed through the spreadsheet. So spreadsheet meaning that ADFTA. So which will be integrated with Oracle or part of Oracle application. So whatever the information we enter there, so that will be directly pushed. So this is not FBDA. So instead this is ADFTA. Okay. So I'll just say enter budgets in spreadsheet. So this will give an Excel sheet after filling in these information. Okay, just give me 1 minute. Okay, fine. So here if we see the first thing what we have is that so we have the budget control validation or probably if you want to have the general ledger reporting as well. So but usually you'll have the budget control validation and then you'll have the whether you're loading this for the first time or you have the budget already, so you wanted to increase the fund or load more funds to the account, so that is the second option. So if you are doing it for the first time, so first option is your selection, that is initial budget. Then you will have the control budget. So this is based on role-based access. So we have given access to the bolt-on budget. So we are getting this particular option called control budget. So now if you want to load, let's say only for 6 months. So you have created the control budget, but you don't want to give the entire fund so on a single go. So instead you wanted to split it into two parts. So what you can do is that you can give the from date as Jan and to date as June. Okay. So then probably in the month of May or sometime, so you'll have to load it again for July to December. Okay. Yeah, and then this is a new budget. So this is not addition to the existing budget. So I'm just saying new budget, create spreadsheet. Okay, so as I said, so this is integrated with Oracle. So that's why if you see, it's asking for the login. So once you give login, all these fields will be populated. So all you have to give is that. Okay, not auto populated. Okay, so this will populate the values and it will connect to Oracle. So if you see here, so you have the enter budget amount. So you can just enter the details and then you can submit this to this thing. Okay. So here if you see, so you have it only for one segment. The reason being is that so we actually given this particular fund check only for the account segment. So no other segment will be involved in this particular process. And the periods will be till December. Okay. So now what I will do is that so I'll pick let's say I'm picking expense account. Okay, so let me add 10,000 to each of the month. Okay, I think the account is not added properly. Okay, I think it's not getting populated, so I'll just enter it manually and I'll say submit. Okay, so the process is submitted and segment value in control budget account or invalid. Okay, I think there is some issue with the account. Okay, so the funds are loaded. So this is the status of the fund for each month. So what we have done is that so we added for this particular account called 50401. Okay, and yeah, these are the balances for the respective months. Okay, yeah, so the funds are loaded. So let's see in the budget area. Okay, so this is the breakup for the ones that we loaded. So here, if you see, so we have the account and the period and the total budget that is allocated by each period, and then we have the expenditure made, and if we have any commitments, and so commitments, obligations, and these things will come into picture. So when we have enable this at business unit level, so that is when you will have it. So apart from that, so you'll have the expenses that is booked under this. So now you can see the fund availability is 100%. So let's try to create a journal entry and let's see. Okay, yeah. So we gave this as an absolute, if you remember. So, and we gave it for the accounting segment, and the value that we added is office expense account. Okay. And then if you see here, so the budget has failed because we don't have enough funds, because the funds that we added is that monthly 20,000, 25,000. But the amount that I have given there is that 5 lakh. So which is more than the periodical basis. Okay. So that's the reason this particular batch has failed. So this is how the fund check will work. Okay. Any doubt till now? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, do you have any doubt till now, whatever we have seen?
No, sir.
Okay, okay, fine. So that's about the budget. So next thing what we have is that the journal approval. I mean, you have time.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Uh,
sir.
okay, fine. So, okay, so probably you'll see the journal approval, and then probably we can stop it there and we will resume tomorrow. Okay, so before that, so what exactly is journal approval? So journal approval is a similar approval process or the workflow process. So kind of a transaction wherein whatever the journal that is created in the system, that will go through an approval process. So where do we enable this particular option called journal approval? So we will have to navigate to the ledger setup. So we saw that specify ledger options. So there we saw an option called enable journal approval. So that is where we have to enable this option called journal approval. First thing. So after enabling it, so we have something called BPM. So BPM is nothing but business process management. So for what this will be helpful? So this will help in terms of configuring or setting the rules how this particular journal approval should be routed. So whether I wanted to use this particular condition and then route it to the respective manager, or how should I take it basically? So that's the thing about the journal approval. Okay, so first let's pick this option called specific ledger option, and then we will see what is BPM and what are the options that we'll have to enable it there. Okay, so here if you see, so we have option called enable journal approval. So I'm just enabling this. So here you will see a message that you have enabled it here, but still you'll have to create it in BPM. So that's what the message says. So once you enable it there in the BPM, so you will be able to. Okay, so I'm just saying manage journal approval rules. So this will take me to the BPM screen. So wherein I can define the rules. Okay, so this is the rule. So, okay, so let me first explain you so what is BPM and how it works, and then probably we'll see so how we will write condition in real time. Okay, so first, if you see here, so we have option of creating the rule. So whether you want to create the decision table or you want to create a general rule. So let's say I want to create a general rule. So first thing is that simple test. So simple test is so these are just a term that is used in Oracle to define. So nested is kind of a technical word. So nested meaning so you have one particular condition. So inside it you have multiple condition attached to it. So after validating this condition, it will pick the parent condition. So that's the nested. And the variable is based on the variable and the negated tested. So we are taking the simple test. Okay. So here, so you have a certain condition that you can enable it here. So let's say I wanted to tell to this system that if this condition satisfies, let's say the let me pick the journal amount. Okay, so either you can give a constant value or probably from the database item. So you can give any value. Okay, so what I'm saying the system is set. So if the chart of account structure company is 01, then the bill system will take this particular condition and it will send for the approval. Okay. Okay, so I have given the simple condition. So wherein if the chart of account 01 is selected, then I have given this variable called. Oh, okay, just a minute. So I'm enabling auto action type. Okay, I don't know what is this issue. Okay, so this is what I'm giving as a rule. Okay, okay, so now this is validated also. So now let me save this. Okay, it should be a call statement. So this should basically print the expression, but somehow the expression is not built in. Okay, let me try to validate this. Okay, let's not waste time. So probably there is some issue. So let me check this and we'll see tomorrow on the journal approval part. Okay. Okay. Anything else? Okay, if we don't have anything, so probably we can wind up this call. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.